This video is going to be on Spire Global, ticker symbol SPIR. This is the third time I've made this video in the past 3 days because there's either new news or the price keeps changing. So I'm going to post this regardless, right? So as of right now, Spire Global is at a little bit more than $300 million market cap. You don't okay, whatever. And I am actually really bullish on this company, and there's a lot of reasons why. And specifically, there are a lot of tailwinds, in my opinion, and a lot of upcoming catalysts that I think that you should be aware of when you're looking at Spire Global, the company. Now, again, I want to reiterate that even though this is a really large position in my portfolio, relatively, this is a high conviction play. It is only at a little bit more than a $300 million market cap. And to put that into perspective, SoFi Technologies, which is another company that I'm heavily invested in, is around $30 billion market cap. So SoFi Technologies is 100 times, about 100 times bigger or more valued, or valued more than Spire Global. Now, that's just to reiterate that this is a small company, and with a lot of small companies, right? With any investment in general, but with specifically small investments, you should be careful. Now, why am I so bullish on Spire Global, the company? There's a lot of reasons why, and the first one is I just feel that there's a lot of tailwinds and upcoming potential catalysts that you should be aware of. So, the first thing, I think that, and there's also been a lot of news articles that actually have to do and relate to Spire Global in general. So the first one that people don't really notice or don't really make the connection to is this ongoing kind of battle between Gemini and OpenAI's ChatGPT. So if you haven't caught up with the news, OpenAI has been kind of shitting bricks right now because Gemini is catching up, right? And I think that a lot of people think that, oh, it's just because you need more processing power, you need more compute power, you need more GPUs, and people have to realize that that's actually not the case. And one of the defining factors in creating a good AI model is the data that you get, right? When I guess software engineers, they have a kind of a saying or like an ism, which is garbage in, garbage out. If you train on good data, you'll get good results most of the time, right? It's not just about your GPU. Yeah, GPU makes it faster or whatever, right? But one of the biggest factors in creating a good model and creating a good AI agent or whatever you want is having good data that you're training on. And Spire Global being this, like they provide data as a service. They have unique data that's really, first of all, it's relevant, right? It's not like 10 years ago. It's not data like 10 years ago. It's weather data. It's all this type of radio frequency data that's constantly coming in, right? So just this, I think that people are looking at data centers, people are looking at GPUs. Yeah, those are the shovel plates. Yeah, those are the, I don't know what you would consider a tractor or whatever, but data is also having access to proprietary data, and a lot of it, and relevant data, is going to be something that is really important for these companies that are training AI models. And I think that because if you look at Google, right, they have access to so much data compared to OpenAI. Just think about how much data Google has and how much easier it is to find good data to train their models on, right? They have Google Maps, they have Google Drive, they have the entire Google search engine. So I don't see how it's really easy to see how Google was able to quickly catch up to ChatGPT, right? As I said before, a first mover's advantage, it's good, but it's not a moat, right? And this kind of proved, or this is the exact example as to how a first mover's advantage is an advantage, but it isn't a durable and sustainable advantage if you don't use it correctly and in specific fields. Now, So that's one tailwind that's going for Spire Global, just this increasing demand for good data and a lot of it. And Spire Global has that in spades. Now the next thing that I want you to be aware of, that is no one has, okay, this blew my mind, and I'm so surprised that no one has mentioned this and made this connection. But Robinhood has announced that they are looking into provide or offering weather contracts or event contracts on the weather, right? Spire Global, their data their data is on weather. It's on weather prediction. So basically, if you think about who uses Robinhood for these prediction markets, that's anyone, right? That's basically any retailer, any retail trader, or any gambler, to be honest. Think about how much that expands Spire Global's moat, or not moat, sorry, their TAM. It expands their TAM like hugely, right? I don't know. I'm too tired. I made this video like 3 times, so excuse my vocabulary right now. Think about it to the point where it gives you such an edge, right? Having access to weather prediction pattern and weather patterns, weather data in general, that it's basically to the point where in order to be competitive in weather prediction, right, you would basically be required to have this type of weather data that Spire Global provides. And maybe it's not necessarily you have to use Spire Global's data specifically, but a rising tide lifts all boats. So just increasing the total addressable market, the TAM of Spire Global, Spire Global is probably going to benefit from that, right? So that is something that I think people haven't made the connection to. Just Robinhood producing or creating these products will create demand for the products that Spire Global sells, namely in this case, data as a service specifically for weather. And I've talked about this. So those are two tailwinds and or catalysts. Now another thing that I want to talk about that I just want to reiterate, because I've said this so many times already, is the increase in spending in government and government spending on defense. There's conflicts arising and popping up left, right, and center, and the EU right now they're increasing their defense budget by, I think it was 2%, if not more than that. That's a lot. 2% sounds like a little, but you're talking about billions of dollars, like a crap ton of money. 2% of a crap ton of money is still a crap ton of money, and when you're increasing spending on defense, that also, again, even if Spire Global isn't the market leader, a rising tide lifts all boats, and Spire Global will be a benefactor of that. Now, I want to okay, sorry, my mind's all over the place. Another key point that I want to point out, or that I want to remind everyone, is, so I just found this out 2 days ago, which is why I had to remake this video a second time. This is now like the 5th time. But Spire Global has put up an announcement that they will be releasing their Q3 numbers, their Q3 earnings report on December, I think it was December 17th. You'll probably have to fact check me, but I'm pretty sure that's the date. So definitely look out for that. And I actually have I have high expectations for this earnings report, because management in their Q2 earnings call, they specifically stated that they would probably be ramping up in H2 of 2025. So they'd probably be doing more marketing, and also that this is when Q3 is when basically you have all these problems with the Kepler deal and all those things kind of settling down, right? They're finally that's kind of all in the past, right? That's no longer weighing down on their balance sheet as much, right? And they can finally focus, like put 100% of their efforts, management and the company itself can put 100% of their efforts on just growing the company and finding more customers and finding more people in general, right? On the marketing and all that stuff, and on research and stuff. So when you have management saying that they would probably be having like a ramp up or having more contracts coming in H2 of 2025. That's Q3 is the start of H2, right? Q3 is the start of the second half of 2025. So I'm very bullish. I mean, I don't know how I can be very bullish. I mean, maybe I could just get rug pulled, but I'm very bullish on the numbers that might be coming out in December 17. I tried to buy options. They never triggered, so I'm kind of sad about that. Now Spire Global is at like $9. I was trying to buy it at whatever. But again, I want to reiterate that this is all speculation. Like, this is not, I'm not going to say it's speculation because it is based off of some evidence and what management has said, but this is a high conviction play. It is at a $300 million market cap. It is 1% the size of SoFi Technologies. Just keep that in perspective, right? So I do want to say, like, I do want to reiterate that you should be careful, but I am very, very bullish just because of all the tailwinds that I'm seeing, all the catalysts that I'm seeing, right? They're still getting business, and their customers are renewing their contracts with Spire Global. We just saw that. We just saw that they what is it? They shot up a few more satellites. I think it was like 11 satellites with SpaceX. They also just got a contract. I forgot with who, but then I don't have access to my actual computer. I'm at work. So I'm very, very bullish. And just when I first made this, Spire Global was, or when the first time I made this video, Spire Global was at a $270 million market cap. Now it is at a $300 million market cap. I want to remind you that Spire previously had around 5 segments. We'll estimate 5 segments, right? Then they sold Spire Maritime for $241 million. Right now, the entire Spire Global is worth $300 million, right? And so you're saying that those 4 companies, right? Those 4 companies other than Spire Maritime are worth, worth a little bit more than Spire Maritime. And that's not even it, right? Spire Global right now also has $100 million of cash in the bank. I think a little bit more at this point. So technically, the company is only worth $200 million right now. So right now, Spire Global the company is worth $200 million, right, in market cap, because they have $100 million of cash on hand. They sold Spire Maritime previously for $241 million. So these 4 segments of Spire Global right now in present day, after growing, is worth $40 million less than what they just sold Spire Maritime for. And okay, so let me just count the segments, right? So yes, space as a service, where they just kind of manage other companies' satellites because they've been doing it so well, right? You have defense, right, which is also like Spire Government, I think they call it. They have aviation, they have weather, and then I'm also calling they have data as a service, right? I guess data as a service is kind of all 3 of those together, but they also have, like, they can sell to traders as well. So I just think that how can you say that those four segments are worth less than Spire Maritime alone after growing for a full year, and with less you don't have as many potential black swans because they have a strong balance sheet now, right? I'm not worried about them defaulting on their debt and going bankrupt because they have $100 million of cash on hand, right? That's also earning interest, right? You have to think about that as well. I don't know. I'm just really bullish right now on Spire Global. I just wish that things would stop coming out so that I don't have to make this video a bajillion times. Even if more news comes out, I'm just gonna post this regardless. But yeah, super bullish on Spire Global. That's ticker symbol SPIR. What are your thoughts? What are you doing? Are you buying the run up? I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I already have a full position, so I don't want to buy anymore. Again, it is a high conviction play. So again, this is Spire Global SPIR. Have a good day. Peace.